So you're looking at buying one of these 60 to 66 Chevy C10s or maybe a GMC, but you don't really know what to look for. Well, if you're going to spend big money, you can, probably get an appraisal, get somebody to take a look at it for you. Maybe do a mechanical inspection, maybe crawl through it yourself. Or, maybe buying something that's already done isn't really up your alley. Maybe it doesn't work with your budget. Maybe you just like to build your stuff. I'm a little column A and column B on that. That's my truck. I paid $25,000 for it last year. I like it, but it falls under the bought not built category, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way. This thing here definitely falls under the going to be built category, because it needs a lot of work. It has a lot of the typical issues that a 60 to 66 has. This one is a 63. The tailgate on it, well, this one's got whammos on both sides, some bullet holes in here. It's had some repairs. It's not bad. Up here in Alberta, Canada, a tailgate like this used in this condition probably run you 150 bucks. A good one run you about 400. An average run would run you about 250 bucks. Another thing to watch for is these box sides. You see this has been repaired, missing a chunk out of here. A lot of it's getting thin inside there. That happens. These trucks were used as work trucks for the most part, farm trucks, that kind of thing. So they had to work. Watch your front of your bed. She gets hammered out like that. Watch the top of your fenders here. You see how that's hammered out like this? Kids climb on them. They take loads. Guys stand on them. They got stuff set up in there. Your fenders will get all hammered out like this. But really watch up here, the front of these fenders. This is where they throw all the rocks, the slush, the snow, the sand, and that got a fiberglass patch in there. Real common spot on these trucks is the sheet metal on the cab. Now, rockers up here always, well, not always, mostly always gone. Inner rocker, this one doesn't even exist. And look at that floor. Pretty typical up here, for a cheaper truck anyway. If you're gonna get a good deal on it, chances are you're gonna be doing these repairs. You're gonna do that floor support, that cab support. You're gonna do this floor pan, and you're gonna do back there. That's the rear cab support. Sorry, rear floor support, and also that cab support as well. So you'll be doing all this sheet metal. There's also A pillar and B pillar extensions. It's quite normal to do those as well. This is your A pillar. First pillar is your A pillar. A lot of times there's rust in here. This one seems okay. Come across to the B pillar. It also seems fine. Nothing wrong there. One part you do have to watch in these trucks, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I have turned trucks away, I have crushed trucks over it, and that's the sheet metal over the windshield. And this is a bad candidate. You can see Mouse House coming right out here. This is, crying out loud, in rough shape. So you got a couple choices. You can replace the cab, just take another cab and toss it on, just easy. Or they do make this patch panel now. In fact, they make this one and the one outside, because it's also usually trouble. Well, it can be trouble. I shouldn't say usually. If you've got rust up here, it's something really to consider. I've never actually done that repair before, but I'm doing it on this truck. I'm not giving up on this cab yet. So I've removed the panels out of another truck. I got a video up on that, and then I'll do a video on replacing them. Anyway, the rust over the windshield, something you really got to watch for, because if you're not into doing that repair, you could be replacing a cab. These doors, so they got a check in here that holds it from opening too far. This one obviously doesn't work, because this and this, those are the dents that typically occur when this door opens all the way and hits here and here. The bottom of these doors, typically you'll see some rust in the corners, like this guy here and that guy there. This is not typical, but it's mine, so I get to work with that. Another spot to watch for rust is the bottom of the doors. I see in here it's a little bit, I'll probably run a little patch in there. But the bottom of these doors aren't terrible, definitely salvageable. I will be using these doors, but you got to watch those doors because they can get pretty crunchy on you. Bottom of the fenders on a 60 to 66 C10 or GMC, this is typical. Sometimes this is a little worse than typical, but they get worse than this too. This one actually climbs all the way up to here. That patch panel typically runs across here. If I was doing a patch panel on this, I'd probably run it down like that. Another trouble spot is above the wheel well, and you can see this one is no stranger to it. It's got here as well, so it's got that damage and this damage. If that weren't enough for you, we got the trifecta. Look at this, all in here. That's kind of, oh hey, I need that. Oh boy. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, so we got the damage here, we got the damage there, and then the damage down there as well. Maybe this one will be for sale. In this case, this fender would be a good candidate for a replacement. Just throw that in the back of the truck. This grill's pretty good. You got to watch these grills. You can tell this is a 63 because of the grill. Not that nobody's changed out a grill before, but that's a good way to identify these trucks. 60 has its own, 61 has its own, 62 has its own, 63 has this one, and that is 64, 5, and 6. Check your bumper. This one's got a pretty good bumper. Check your grill. Because these things do get expensive. This one's got a whammo here. I would not throw this grill away. I'd fix it. And that trim ring, I'll try and fix it. If you got one in the Edmonton area, hey, hook me up. I could really use one. And then this piece here got a whammo in it, but we can fix that as well. The passenger fender, other than not being bolted on the bottom, looks better here. Better than that side anyway. We don't have the rust over the wheel. We do have some poor body work here. Somebody hammered that out and then just covered it with Bondo. It happens. At least the truck's still here for us. We got some more Bondo here. This fender has been curled in, and then we got our typical rust down here. We'll take care of that. This door's got the rust down here, the rust down there. Got a whammo up here. Whammo in here, but Scott's does sell this nice patch panel, like the bottom 12 inches. I don't know if we need all of it, but we'll use that patch and we'll create whatever we're gonna do with it. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, that's a patch. That's an area you'll want to look at, see if there's any poor repairs hiding under the paint or whatnot. This rocker is also shot. Again, these are typical things you'll find on these trucks. These rockers, they're typical. The inner rocker doesn't even exist. Look at this. That's typical, I know. These floor up here. So the floor support, that's it under there. It should be running right here. That little piece of it here. We'll need to do some repair here, some repair there, some repair here, and also behind the seat. The rear floor support needs a repair there as well. Take a look behind the seat. Nothing really to see there. seat is in surprisingly good shape for what it is. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. My buddy Jeff's going to hook me up with an OBS seat. Maybe a nice gray one. Never know. We'll see. We'll see how she plays out. The rest of the interior looks pretty good. You can see down there in that corner, we have the same issue as here. So, you know, windshield, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. We'll take a look at this. A pillar looks okay. B pillar looks okay. The A pillar and B pillar extensions, a lot of times you don't know where you stand with that until you get the rockers off. I like to have them on hand. Second verse, same as the first as far as the rear step side fender goes. And you can see some bodywork cracking there. I had my hand up in there. It's a bunch of dents, a bunch of Bondo under it. Same as here. This was all Bondo at one time. It's a big dent here, and this is concave. Pretty typical. Back here, same deal on the tailgate. This kind of stuff, luckily for me, it's bolted on and not welded on, so I'll be able to just unbolt that tow hitch. This box. So keep in mind, these are 60-year-old trucks. So your bedwood is going to need some work. You know, at 60, wood needs work. That's all there is to it. Whether it's swollen, cracked, dead, missing, you need new wood. So I'm gonna give you guys a video on replacing this wood, but you can pretty much count on it needing it. Now some guys like to go to the extent of spending, you know, $1,000 bucks, $1,500 even $2,000 on a nice oak wood bed kit, and it looks beautiful. You know, chrome or stainless steel trim and oak, and it's all stained and lacquered and looks great. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it in pine for about $100. We'll reuse our old strips and we'll do up the pine the same way the factory did, and it'll look great. And you're going to spend $100 and you'll thank me. Well, maybe you'll spend a little more on the hardware, so maybe $150 total, but I'll let you know what hardware you're going to need from Home Depot as well. You don't have to order the expensive kit. So that's that for back here. Let's go under the hood. Actually, you know what, let's take a look under the truck, because if you go to look at a truck and it's got a carpet or a floor mat in there, you're gonna have to crawl underneath, and this is what you're gonna see. So that's the rear support here, and that's typically what it looks like when they rot out. So instead of looking from the top down, we'd be looking up at carpet, or we'd be looking up at you know, the rubber mat. And here's this as well. Hey, you got a speaker, that's cool. And that's pretty much the same on both sides. The frames on these, in my experience, I'm in Alberta, Canada, the frames are pretty damn good. If you're on the East Coast, they use salt a lot more than we do. We don't really use it, and from what I understand, it wreaks havoc on their vehicles. You'd think we use salt, but we don't. So our frames are typically pretty good. It's our sheet metal that takes a licking. Let's get under the hood here. Okay, so this is a 3-speed column. So this has 2 shift levers. You can see it here, an upper and a lower, and that's for first and second and third and fourth gears. Sorry, first and reverse and second and third gears. If there was only one of these on here, it would be an automatic column. If there was none of these on here, it would be a 4-speed on the floor column. Oh, sorry, yeah, a 4-speed on the floor column. This denotes manual brakes. There's no booster. This here is a Chevy 400. That never came in these trucks. These trucks came with typically inline 6 engines up here in Canada anyway. Inline 6 3-speed most common, inline 6 4-speed second. There, of course, you could buy a V8, you could buy an automatic, but I've never actually seen them up here. Like that truck's a V8 automatic 66 Chevy, but it came out of Oklahoma. All the Alberta trucks I've seen, they've all been 6-cylinder, 3-speed or 4-speed. So anyway, drivetrain doesn't really matter too much to most of us. Most of us aren't keeping the inline 6. You'll throw in a small block Chevy, LS swap it, you know, big block swap it, do whatever you want. But there's very few and far between people who want that inline 6. If you do, the world's your oyster, because guys are damn near giving them away. Get a great price on them. Same as the 3-speed. It's a very weak transmission. Not a lot of people want it. Same as the 4-speed that came in these, because it's really a 3-speed. It's 3-speed with granny low, right? Not a great transmission. I got some videos on putting a T5 5-speed in these things. You can use the S10 one behind a 6-cylinder if you want. You can use the S10 one behind a V8 if you're not going to beat up on it. You can use the Firebird or Camaro one if you do want to beat up on it. They're a little more robust. Anyway, I hope I was able to help you out if you're looking to buy one of these. So, yeah, if the whole bought not built thing doesn't bother you, I suggest buying one. You know what? It's pretty great. If your wallet's deep enough, go ahead and buy one. If you're into building one instead of buying one, I would say get a short box. You know, it's up to you, step side, fleet side, but definitely more value in a short box. And do what you want with it. Have fun. If you buy a long box, remember this though, you'll get more truck for the money every single time. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I hope I helped you out a little bit. And if you want to stick around and watch me put that thing back in the road, do so. Subscribe. We're going to have some fun. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to help me out. All right. Thanks, guys.